Getting set up here. Got all kinds of updates for you. Get my text to speech thing going here. Let's see. Alright, I don't know why it just connected like 4 times. Hopefully it doesn't repeat everything 4 times.
Aaron Shackelford 6106 said hi. Aaron Shackelford 6106 said hi.
Hey, what's up, Aaron? Welcome back, man. Just getting this live stream set up. Apparently, the text-to-speech is going to repeat everything twice. I don't know. It seems like every other Sunday when I run this, it malfunctions on me, so... All right, just leaving Columbus, Ohio again. I'm basically the same spot I was at last week. So I was going to start a new job. And made it over to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And made it about 3 hours into the first day. And I unceremoniously got sent home. So apparently a bunch of morons at this company I was hiring on with. Now my address on my driver's license is different than my current address, and apparently they thought that meant my license was invalid. They were 100% wrong. Cost me about a week's pay. Very rude, very ignorant. I mean, not everyone in this world can be above below average intelligence, and they are definitely below average intelligence. So I'm actually going back to the same company again. I was talking to another company, and the money was just a couple $100 a week less than what the one I'm going to now is. So as much as I hate going back there and dealing with the bullshit, you got to do what you got to do. I do plan on being a dick to them the whole entire 3 days I'm onboarding there now, though, after what they pulled last week. So I'm just leaving.
Aaron Shackelford 6106 says, how young were they, lol? Aaron Shackelford 6106 says, how young were they, lol? Bob Sholbo K9 Grams says, good morning. Bob Sholbo K9 Grams says, good morning.
Good morning, Bob. Long time no speak. Yeah, Aaron, they were not that young. Yeah, they were supposedly seasoned veterans, all former drivers, and all retarded as well. So it is what it is. Just they were very, very standoffish, acting like they knew everything, and it's comical. You know, I actually had no contact with them after I got shipped out. They wouldn't even give me a rental car back. They stuck me on a bus and literally dumped me on the street at a bus stop. Just very, very rude, very ignorant, very unprofessional. So I had no intentions of even considering going back, but their director of recruiting called
Aaron
Friday.
Shackelford 6106 says, you can't fix stupid.
You cannot fix
Aaron
stupid.
Shackelford 6106 says, you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, you can't fix it. But you can sure beat their asses, though, and I sure wanted to. We'll see if there's any more hang-ups this week when I get back there. And I probably don't go out without swinging this time, so. But yep, it's just some of the dumb bullshit. This trucking industry has become in this country. You know, now if I was illegal with the fake CDL, yeah, I can get a job and be driving the same day probably. It's just, and then there's the companies that are legit, go by the book. They're so scared, they don't know what they're doing, so. But it costs them money, it costs me money. Not a happy camper. But like I said, the other opportunity I came up with on a moment's notice was a couple $100 a week less, and yeah, so I got about a 400-mile drive to get back there. I forgot to check. I'm in a rental car again. Forgot to check and see what state license plate I have on there. I had a Georgia plate last week. So if you're just joining in, my name's Johnny Dangerously. I am an over-the-road truck driver in the United States. Currently on my way to a new job in a rental car right now. Got a 3-day onboarding. I was actually on my way to the same job last week, and everything went sideways right from the get-go. So we're going to try it again this week, see what happens. Hopefully a little better result.
6106 says, what kind of vehicle are you driving now to get back to where you got to go?
Right now I'm in a Nissan Altima. Last week, that was actually a pretty nice ride. So could not get that one again this week. Of course, you can't smoke cigarettes in these rental cars, which I don't know if I'm going to abide by that this week or not. I do still have a bit of a chip on my shoulder from dealing with these morons last week, so I could really say I don't give a shit. You know, the rental's on their account, not mine, so I'm sure they'll try to hit me for a couple $100 cleaning fee after the fact, though. But pretty nice day out here. It was already pretty warm, 82 degrees right now. The Uber I took to the rental place was no air conditioning in it. It was horrible. So going to be running Interstate 70 to 76 toll in Pennsylvania. So we go Ohio to West Virginia to Pennsylvania. It's about 450 miles total, I think. So I have not keyed up the navigation yet because I don't really care. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Once I do get rolling on the road, I'll be doing 3 to 4 live streams or so a week. That's what I aim for anyways. So barring anything else unforeseen, I should be back on here next Saturday in the big truck. I think they run Freightliners out of this place, so these orientations are...
Aaron Shackelford 6106 says, I'm staying home today watching NASCAR there in Iowa. NASCAR is.
Oh, I saw they were in Iowa
Aaron
this week.
Shackelford 6106 says, I'm staying home today watching NASCAR there in Iowa. NASCAR is.
Good deal, good deal. Drivers are a lot of All right, I think I'm back on now. A little bit ridiculous. And it reconnects again. As I was saying, do better, T-Mobile. Pay a lot of money for this shit service. Well, welcome back. Looks like I lost my connection for a few moments there. Not really sure why. All right, well, I hope the connection's coming in better. Hopefully it's not choppy and crappy. Just outside of Columbus, Ohio right now, heading eastbound on Interstate 70. I'll be coming up on Zanesville in 20 or 30 miles here. Still lots of construction through there. Well, there's a big piece of farm equipment. So the only good thing about coming back out here again is I know exactly where I'm going. Directions there and everything. The hotel they put you up in is an absolute shithole. So definitely not looking forward to that. But if you're just joining in, my name's Johnny Dangerously. I'm a truck driver, over-the-road truck driver in the United States. Been driving truck for almost 20 years, currently in a rental car on my way to go start a new job again tomorrow. I did the same exact thing last Sunday at the exact same place. I got booted out of the onboarding because my address on my license didn't match my current address. Absolutely nothing wrong with my license, but people claimed that my license was invalid, and they were 100% wrong. Stupid is as stupid does. Was not going to even attempt to go back to work for them, but the money is quite a bit better there than just about anywhere else for what I'm looking to do. So probably end up regretting putting myself through this again. You know, they literally took me to the hotel, gathered my stuff up, and dumped me off at a bus station. Just dumped me off on the street last week. Very rude, very ignorant. So did not even contact them. They called me Friday. I tore him a new asshole. Begged me to give him another chance. So if I had anything close to as good of an option as this was, I would not be going back. But the funny thing is I went to the BMV to get the address fixed on my license, and now I don't even have like a hard copy of a license. I have a piece of paper.
Aaron Shackelford 6106 says, "Good for you, John." Aaron Shackelford 6106 says, "Good for you, John."
Yep. So they gave me a piece of paper because they have to mail you your new license, which takes 6 to 15 business days. So now, not only do I not have like an actual, they gave me my old license back with a bunch of holes punched in it, and it's not able to be used as my CDL, but the piece of paper they printed out is technically my CDL. That's good for 2 months until I get the new license in the mail. So not sure how well that's going to go over. They said it would be fine, but with this bunch of dingleberries, you never know. So, well, 111 degrees. Wow, that's pretty hot out there. I saw the Southwest was in like a heat dome or whatever, but I think you guys are generally over 110 degrees at least 60 days out of the year, maybe, or something, if I remember right.
Aaron Shackelford 6106 says about 5 years ago is over 110 for over 145 days straight, no lie.
Holy shit,
Aaron
I do remember
6106
hearing some crazy
says
stuff
about
like that.
5 years ago is over 110 for over 145 days straight, no lie.
Yeah, that's insane, man. That's freaking hot. I'm sure that record will be broken real soon here. That's almost half the entire year. Over 110 degrees. No thanks.
Aaron Shackelford 6106 says the heat does not bother me out here. I've been out here 15 years. Aaron Shackelford 6106 says the heat does not bother me out here. I've been out here 15 years.
Yeah, I guess you would get used to it after a while. I was owner operator from like 2012 to 2016. So this truck I bought it from a friend of mine. I had 1.2 million miles on it when I bought it, but the air conditioning didn't work in it. So I had a tri-pack, Thermo King tri-pack generator, so I would have air conditioning while I slept in the back. But I didn't have any air up front. I had went to try and get it fixed, and they said they put some kind of dye in there with the refrigerant so they could see where it's leaking. And so that was like almost $300 for that. And then a week later, it quit working. I take it back, and they can't find where the dye leaked out at. Can't figure out what the problem was with it. I went on YouTube looking to see what the problems could be, and the air conditioning systems in Freightliners are just so horrible. Like, I saw like videos of guys who replaced every single component of their air conditioning, spent over $7,000, and it still didn't work. And I was like, you know what? Screw that. That's not going to be me. So I just never had air conditioning in the front of my truck for, 4.5 years or so that I was driving that truck. I mean, I'd be down in Laredo, Texas, and those parts 100, 110 degrees, and just rolling my window down. I mean, it got pretty rough, but you do get used to it. I got used to it. I got a load going to Vegas. Took a couple weeks off there to go do some World Series of Poker events and everything. And when I checked out of the hotel to get back into the truck, my generator quit working. So I check out of the hotel at like 11 in the morning, and I basically have to go right back to bed. I got to drive from Vegas to Phoenix, Phoenix to Dallas, and there's no extra time to spare. I had to run overnight and everything, which means I had to sleep during the day. My generator broke. As soon as I got back in my truck, my generator broke. So now I didn't have air conditioning when I slept, and I had to sleep during the day. Let's see, I was in Vegas during the day. I mean, it must have been 140 degrees in the back of my truck trying to sleep. El Paso the next morning. And then after a week of doing it, I kind of got used to it. And going 85 in the morning, was doable after the first couple nights of days of no sleep. So. I guess it disconnected again. Hey Lane, if you're back on, did Joey working next week? I did catch some of his live stream last Sunday evening, so that was super cool.
Aaron Shackelford 6106 says you got to have air conditioner, blows ice cold air. I want to get 100 degrees southwest.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I couldn't imagine being without an air conditioner out there in the Southwest. And ice cold is definitely good in those temperatures. Lugging my big bags inside the place and breaking a sweat, struggling, but I smoke cigarettes a day, so I'm sure that's got something to do with it. Speaking of cigarettes, I'm gonna have to stop and have a cigarette here. I got these nicotine pouches last week, thinking maybe that could stave off me having to stop so often to have a cigarette, but I did not like those at all. Hey Lane, you back on?
Lane Rodder says, did you get the new job?
Yeah, no, technically not yet. So they sent me home last Monday, 3 hours into the day, because my driver's license address on my driver's license did not match my current
Aaron
address.
Shackelford 6106 says, been going to any car shows lately?
I am not. Nope, I'm doing a lot of just all pulling
So
in.
you are going back to the new job.
Yeah, I'm going back to the same piece of shit company that just sent me home with the same freaking morons I got to deal with again. But I'm going to be like the way it all went down. So basically, my current address did not match the address on my driver's license, and they said my license was invalid because of it. They couldn't do the physical, couldn't do my drug test, couldn't do my I-9 with it. And I said, "You're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about." I was like, "It's completely fine. I mean, that address changed a couple years ago. All you got to do is have the address updated with the state, and you're good to go," which I had done back in 2023. And they were just impossible to convince them that they were wrong. So now
Lane Rodder says, I would fixed a different job for a different truck company.
yeah, I wanted to, but the closest I could get money wise was still more than $200 less a week. It was the best I could come up with. So, and I wasn't even going to. I was actually going to take the hit on that. And then the recruiter guy called me Friday, and he's like, "Hey, just calling to check in to see how orientation went." And I'm like, "You're fucking kidding me, right?" And I was like, "You don't have any clue what happened?" And he's like, "Oh, I think I do remember getting an email." And I just lit this guy up,
Lane
mothered
Rodder
him up and
says,
down the
Joey
wall.
Joe for a big truck company.
Yeah, it's the trucking landscape in present day it's just horrible. You can't trust any of these smaller companies. And I don't really like driving for a big company either. But there's so many things that these companies lie about. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear on the phone, and you waste your time driving halfway across the country. You're traveling halfway across the country, and like day one, they basically tell you they lied to you. What are you going to do? And it's like, well. All right. Well, looks like my piece of shit self-service is cut out again. So if somebody can tell me the last part you heard on that, because I was rambling a bunch of stuff off there. Fuck you, T-Mobile. Yeah, so not sure how much of my rant you heard there, but so the director of recruiting ended up calling me from this company that unceremoniously sent me home last Monday improperly. I was my license was 100% legal. Talked to them, and apparently the director of recruiting oversees the people that were running the orientation. So I'm like, well, that means you're stupid too. And you're hiring a bunch of dumb fucks that don't know what they're doing. So if things don't work out this time, they will rent me a car instead of sticking me on a bus on his own dime if they need to. But if they improperly send me home again, I will run that car right into a river. I will never make it. Well, hopefully the signal's back on and strong here. A little disappointed with how many times this thing's been cutting out. Shitty cell service. Well, I'm gonna have to find somewhere to pull off and have a cigarette here. I think this is pretty much the exact same spot I stopped at last week to have a cigarette. Creature of habit, I guess. All right, we'll stop here and have a smoky smoke. Well, somebody peeing or pooping there or something. Jeez. All right. Excuse me a moment while I puff on a cigarette here. Be right back. All right. I'm not sure if I got the signal back or not. All right. Got the cigarette in. Good for another 20 minutes now, maybe. Maybe 30.
Lane Rodder says Joey has not been working much.
Yeah, I was curious if he worked at all last week. I did catch some of his live stream last Sunday evening. That's pretty cool how he does it from his garage. So I said hi. He said hi back to me. So that was super cool.
Lane Rodder says only one day last week.
Crazy. I figured they should be going like gangbusters out there this time of year. Maybe the economy is just taking a big dump or something. Spent a lot of time at
Lane Rodder says, "Where are you going now?"
back to near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So same place.
I think he should be working next week.
Yeah, that's cool. Even the little wings restaurant I hang out at when I'm back home was super slow. I mean, they're usually going to line up the door, and they were slow all week last week, and that was like the first week they were like that. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a big shift going on with the economy, and these high gas prices are finally catching up with everyone, and they're just tightening their purse strings or what's going on. But I hope not. But some of these companies I was talking to this week, offering is just not where I figured it should be. This time of year, most trucking companies are gearing up for peak season for the holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Black Friday, all that stuff. Most of these companies have to gear up right now for that to make sure they have enough capacity to handle that. And I'm just not seeing any of them moving that quick, putting people to work, or even offering enough money to act like they need a lot of drivers or anything. So it's 1,000 drivers that are being taken off the road because fake seats. So I figured there would be a glut, definitely huge opportunity to get hired in at a better rate, and higher money, and I'm just not seeing that yet. So
Lane Rodder says, "I got a buddy in Kentucky. He is going to drive a Peterbilt sleeper truck in 2 weeks.
oh, cool.
Dry cement to West Virginia to the power station."
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, he's probably got a big long nose Peterbilt then. I've never driven one of those. I'm kind of now that I'm been driving for 20 years, I wouldn't mind driving one of those and being in one of those big ass trucks, but they get even worse fuel mileage. They probably get 5 to 5.5 miles a gallon on those big long nose Peterbilts. And you get 7 to 7.5 on these newer, like Cascadias and 579s and everything. So
Lane Rodder says, "As this company has all Peterbilt trucks, all the sleeper trucks, so he's gonna be running from Cotati of the West Virginia."
cool. Yep, I could make actually better money if I stayed regional, or heck, even if I went local in Columbus, Ohio. I don't know why when you run cross country, staying out and away from home for 4 to 6 to 8 weeks at a time, it pays so much less. It doesn't that doesn't make a lot of sense either. But
Lane Rodder says they said he can live stream every day.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I made the mistake of mentioning my social media stuff to a company, and they said, "Yeah, sure, that's fine. You could do it, no problem." And then first day in orientation, they're like, "Yeah, you can't do any of that stuff." And I was like, "Well, I can't work for you." And I had to go home that day too. I've quit a lot of jobs on my first day, so I just keep my mouth shut about it now. I don't say anything to them. Eventually, I'll have to probably buy my own truck. I try not to do that. Just so much more stuff you got to do and pay attention to when you own your own rig, and makes it hard to focus on the social media when I got to focus on fuel prices, if the taxes, if the reporting.
Lane Rodder says, "Oh really, I would buy you a new truck one day."
Yeah, it's I was owner operator from 2012 to 2016, and yeah, I was looking at doing all kinds of video stuff back then. But when I bought the truck, I kind of had my hands full, just trying to make sure I had everything in order, and there's so much stuff you got to pay attention to. Not a whole lot of time for anything else. And back then, when I bought my truck,
Lane Rodder says the Peterbilt trucks are ready good.
yeah, back in 2012 when I bought my truck, bought it off a friend of mine. It had 1.2 million miles on it when I bought it, and I only paid him $6,000 for the truck. So I had no truck payment, paid cash for it, and I'm getting paid the same money per mile as the guys that have a $3,500 a month truck payment. So, but back then I was only making about $45,000 a year driving over the road. And then when I bought the truck, I was making like 120, like literally overnight. But now you can make 110 grand driving over the road. You can make 120, 130 grand driving regional or local. And you can't make much more
Lane Rodder
without your own
says,
authority.
"What type of trucks are you going to be driving?"
I think I'm going to be driving Freightliners at this job I'm going to now. And they're only like 2 years old. So 2025s and 2026s, I think, is what they have right now. So just a Cascadia, nothing fancy schmancy. It's not a long nose. It's the better fuel mileage ones you can get or whatever. So just a stock piece of garbage, pretty much. A fleet truck.
Lane Rodder says, "Oh really, what state can you drive?"
I could drive all 48. That's what this job's going to be. So hopefully we'll end up out on the West Coast. I haven't been out west in quite a while, so I don't want to do 200 and 300 mile size loads. I want to do 1,000 and 1,500 mile size loads. So
Lane Rodder says, "Are you going to New Jersey, Annie?"
yeah, I should be up in those areas. Like usually when you're running all 48, you end up like in a region for like a week or two at a time, and you'll get a big trip going to a different area, and you'll be hanging around there for a week or two. And so it's hard to say when or how often I'll be out that way, but I know the company I work for does have a lot of work up in those parts. Not my favorite parts to drive, just because of how busy it is, lower speed limits.
Lane Rodder says, "If so, you might see Joey in New Jersey."
Yeah, entirely possible. It's entirely likely I'll be in his neck of the woods soon. But I try to stay out northeast when I can. I don't mind driving there. I love going up there every once in a while. I was just up in Maine and Jersey and all that stuff back in March. I was running this RV load going to RV dealerships. I had like 25 stops on his trailer that went all the way up the eastern seaboard and like Philadelphia, Delaware,
Lane
New
Rodder
Jersey, New
says
York.
you might get to pass him on the highway going to get loaded.
Yeah, maybe. I'll have to keep my eyes open for that. So, yeah, that'd be super cool. So, to move around, change the scenery up all the time. So, get to see and experience
Lane
new
Rodder
and different
says
things.
he still has the same truck that he drives.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't mind working for, a small outfit or whatever. It's just so hard for what I want to do over the road, finding a small outfit that pays enough. A lot of them pay the 1099 instead of W-2s. And it's just too much of a risk to take to travel and not achieve and get what I want. I end up having to do a lot of things I don't want to do in ways I don't want to do them. And, doing this for 20 years now, almost 20 years now, I want certain things to be certain ways and kind of paid my dues. They got all these cameras in these trucks now. A lot of big companies got driver facing, forward facing, record audio, all biometrics. If you reach for your coffee, it sets the camera off. Take your eye off the road, it sets the camera off. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing a gig like that. The company I'm going to work for now does not run any cameras in their trucks at all, not even forward facing. So anyways, for maybe another hour or so today. Try to run a little longer if I can. I don't know where my battery's at on my phone here. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's only at 65% now, so maybe an hour and 15 minutes or so. But if you're just joining in, my name's Johnny Dangerously. I'm an over-the-road truck driver in the United States. Been driving for almost 20 years. Currently on my way to start a new job tomorrow.
Lane Rodder says good luck with the new job. I might come back in going to my other channel.
All right, Lane, thanks for coming on. I'll chat with you soon. But if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do try to post a lot of other short videos and long videos.
Says okay.
And then I do try to do 3 or 4 times a week. So hopefully I'll be back on maybe Saturday from a big truck. I was supposed to be on yesterday from a big truck, but everything fell apart on day 1 of my onboarding. It's 3 days of onboarding for this particular gig, so can only imagine what's going to go wrong on this trip back. Started this exact same job last Monday, got sent home because my address did not match the current address, didn't match the address on my driver's license, and for whatever reason, the morons thought that meant I had an invalid CDL, which was 100% not the case. Unfortunately, it's not always possible to deal with people that are below average intelligence, and that was clearly the case. So many of them in one room that were below average intelligence, so should be a red flag for me, but the money was still a couple $100s a week better at this place than anything else I had at my disposal. So it's the only reason I'm attempting this again.
Fluffy Navel says, I really hope it goes well.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Me too. Me too. I mean, it was absolutely frustrating last week when this happened, so I'm definitely in a much more pissed off state of mind going in here. I can just say I am not going to be pleasant to deal with for these 3 days. I am not going to be cordial at all. I'm going to try to not be mean, but if they try to chit chat, I'm just going to tell them to zip it. I don't want to have a conversation with anybody. Do what you got to do. Do what I got to do, and shut the F up. Kind of demeanor. So let's see how that goes. Pretty nice weather out here today, so all right, let's get in the right lane. But this is about a 450-mile drive altogether. When they booted me out of the place last week, they just rudely dumped me on the street at a bus station. Would not even give me a rental car back because they thought my license was invalid and I would not be covered under their insurance. And they were 100% wrong. I ended up making it home at midnight Monday night. Woke up at 5 a.m. Monday. Started there at 6:30 in the morning, and then my day didn't end until midnight after a ridiculous bus ride home. I hadn't been on a bus since 2010. I had no intentions or desire to ever be on a bus ever again. Yet ruined that streak.
Fluffy Navel says, shame man. Sorry, I would also be pissed off.
Yep. Yeah, it's just basically, that's pretty much the trucking industry. You just get used to being treated less than human, treated like a piece of shit everywhere you go. I mean, between the customers I pick up freight from, companies I deliver freight to, truck stops, everyone in between pretty much hates truck drivers. And then the most amazing part of it all is the people that treat me entirely worse than any of those people is always the company I work for. It's a true story. They will pay everyone. They will pay rental car companies, bus companies, hotels, this and that. But anytime they got to pay the driver something, they balk and they don't want to do it. When you want to get home for home time, you stay out for 2 months at a time. You're supposed to be home at a certain date and time. You never end up making it home. I mean, you just, it's miserable. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. See if we can make it into day 2 this time around, let alone day
Fluffy
3.
Navel says, I thought truck drivers made decent cash.
Yeah, we make pretty decent money, but when you reverse engineer how many hours we put in, I mean, 70 to 80 hours a week, and what that would break down to for an hourly rate, if I was getting paid time and a half or anything over 40, it doesn't factor. Let's say I made $20 an hour, so 40 hours would be $800, and then I do 30 hours of overtime at time and a half, which would be $30 an hour. So that would be $800 for the first 40 hours, and then 30 hours times $30 an hour would be $900. 900 plus 800 would be $1,700 a week. $1,700 a week translates to about $86,000 a year. So if I make $100,000 a year, it's going to probably translate into about $22 an hour, give or take. So, I mean, it's basically the, I think Walmart, $20 an hour now. The regulations I have to abide by. I mean, there's like 12,000 and some rules in the trucking Bible, the FMCSA book, or FMCSR book. And not to mention all the medical requirements, DOT physicals, sleep apnea tests, drug tests. I mean, I have to do a hair follicle test. They're doing like hair drug tests now. So you got to meet all these high bars, this high standard, just to essentially make what a cashier at Walmart would make. Now, most cashiers at Walmart cannot work 70 hours a week to get that 30 hours overtime. Most companies don't put that kind of overtime out there, but that's what it would be if I would get paid time and a half. 20 to $22 an hour. And because I'm interstate, I don't get the tax-free overtime that Trump just passed either. I get none of that. And it's expensive. A lot of companies do not reimburse if you have to pay to park your truck for a 10-hour break, which is completely ridiculous. Why would I pay my money to park your stuff, your shit, your truck, your trailer? I'll be on the Pennsylvania Turnpike in a little while here. I think I was through here back around Memorial Day. I stopped, wanted a burger. So I stopped at Burger King, got a Whopper value meal, and it was almost $20.
Fluffy Navel says they should definitely be responsible for that.
Yeah, it's amazing how these companies are just let off the hook. So I get paid by the mile, but most people don't know is that I don't get paid for all the miles I drive. So you can actually Google, there's HHG miles. So it's household goods miles. That's the shortest route in between city line to city line. Some companies pay that routing. Then there's practical mileage, which is what a lot of companies pay, PC miler routing. So if I'm getting paid practical mileage or PC miler routing, I'm making probably 93 to 95%, getting paid for 93 to 95% of the miles I drive. If I'm getting paid HHG miles, I'm getting paid for maybe 88 to 92% of the miles I drive. It's completely ridiculous. So if I get a 1,000-mile trip under HHG mileage pay scale, I'm gonna drive 11 miles to get paid 1,000 miles. I'm only allowed to work so many hours in a week. So that extra 100 miles is coming off my logbook. If I'm owner operator, I'm paying for the fuel for that extra 100 miles. And I apologize if it sounds like I'm whining. I mean, well, I pretty much am. But it's just the fuckery of driving truck is endless. It just goes on and on and on. What these companies expect from you. And they think their shit don't stink, It's just You know, just ignorant. Like I said, the people that treat me the worst out of everybody who treats me badly out here is generally the company that I'm currently working for at any given point. They're all assholes. They literally hate their own drivers. They say they don't, but they do. All right, if you're just joining in, currently heading Interstate 70 eastbound in Ohio right now on my way to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and a rental car on my way to start a new job again tomorrow. Started this job last Monday morning as well, so give it another shot and see. Can only imagine what can possibly go wrong this time. So. Got to be on here for maybe another hour or so. I'll have to find somewhere and grab some lunch at some point. Should be able to get you through Wheeling, West Virginia, or so maybe even across the Pennsylvania line before I wrap it up. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do come on here when I'm driving in the big rig. Try to come on at least 3 to 4 times a week with the live stream. Do post a lot of other short videos, long form videos as interesting stuff happens out here. I do have some footage to go through from last week when I was driving out here. I've just been pretty unmotivated this past week. So, put some of that up at some point. Well, in a pretty scenic part of Ohio right now. Got some good, nice mountain ranges out here. Probably got about 20 miles or so left in Ohio. We'll cross over into Wheeling, West Virginia, near St. Clairsville, Ohio now. Coming past it in a few miles here. So I'm currently in a rental car in a Nissan Altima 2025. I've driven, let's see, over 110 miles so far, and my fuel gauge has not even moved. Still on a full tank, so that's pretty interesting. See if I can see what my miles per gallon are here. Well, I'm not able to see that apparently. 34 and a half miles to the gallon. Wow, that's pretty good. I'm not driving slow either, so if I'd be going like 65 miles an hour, I bet you I might be able to get that up to 37, 38 miles a gallon maybe. That's pretty wild.
Lane Rodder says I just came back from tell you I just talked to Joey. We got some good news.
Cool. What's up with Joey? Welcome back, by the way. All right. My way to the West Virginia line here. Oh, another 10, 12 miles or so. I'm going to take 470 this
says
week.
He said we start a big job site tomorrow hauling dirt.
Oh, cool. Well, good for him. Man, I would be pretty bored sitting around for the last couple weeks not doing a whole lot of driving. I guess he's got more than plenty to keep him busy, though, with the socials and all that good stuff. But yeah, glad to hear he's going to get some work in this week. State 70 screwed in a big traffic jam. So when I'm in a big truck, I always take 40. So we're going to take 470 today. That'll put us right into Wheeling, West Virginia. Currently in St. Clairsville, Ohio, right here. I'm getting a little bit hungry. I'm going to try to run this live stream a little while longer before I'm going to have to take my lunch at on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, which means I'll be paying double price just about for everything. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. If I need another cigarette, though. If you're just joining in, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do come on 3 to 4 times a week when I'm behind the wheel of the big truck. Hopefully I'll be back Saturday with a live stream from the big rig. Currently in a rental car on my way to start this new job again for the second time since last week. So hopefully the second time's the charm, because there ain't gonna be a third time. I do also post a lot of other short videos, long videos up as interesting stuff happens. Currently on my way to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Let's see, probably about, well, not sure how many miles I'm away. Did not key it up in my GPS yet. Let's see how many miles I've driven so far. No, I've driven 125 miles, so I got about 325 miles left to go or so. Fun. Well, there went my signal again. Yay for me. Well, I believe this is going to put us in West Virginia right now, so just outside of Wheeling, crossing the Ohio River. Yay. Well on our way now. Haha. Yeah. I forgot about the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit here. Apparently I should have stayed on Interstate 70 instead of 470.
Angie Coley says, what up with tires all over the road?
Hi, Angie. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, so when the temperatures get high outside, if you don't have the correct tire pressure in your big truck tires, they tend to explode quite often. That's why you'll see a lot more of that in the summer months than you do the winter months. So a lot of times in the winter, you'll notice your tires lose some air pressure as it gets colder, and then so in a big truck you end up putting air in those tires and then not let it out in the spring and summertime, and then when that air expands again with the heat from the tires on the road, they go boom. And you definitely don't want to run any of those over either. It might look like a simple piece of rubber, but it's not. That is rubber coated steel, and I got a steel radial belt in there, which could it'll do a lot to your car, but
Life M said hi.
It can very well make you lose control of your car, flip you. Not good to run those over. Hello, welcome to the live stream. All right, joining back up with Interstate 70 here. Good old Wheeling, West Virginia.
Angie Coley says, drive safe.
Thanks, Angie, appreciate it. Got another big hill to climb here. So you'll see a lot of big semi trucks on this mountain down to about 30 miles an hour if they're pretty heavy pulling this hill here. Well, let's get over here. They're gonna have a truck lane pretty soon here.
Angie Coley says, how many years driving?
Almost 20. So I've actually had my CDL for over 20 years. I didn't drive the first couple years I had it. So, but yeah, I got driven almost 2 million miles at this point. So almost 20 years and 2 million miles. So at one point or another, but we have such a beautiful country here. And even though you still got Walmarts and your McDonald's and your Burger Kings, you know, and like all your big towns, big cities, everywhere I've been has its like own identity. It's just a little bit different than the last place I went. People are just a little bit different. And we have a great country, beautiful country. Huge, so much to see, so much to do. So if you ever get a chance to get out and explore all the different states, get out of the touristy areas and stuff, and actually get into some of these places, it's super cool. It's a great experience. Probably one of the greatest.
Angie Coley says, woo 2 mil shit you carrying experience there.
But it was fun too. So probably one of the greatest inventions for me as a truck driver has been like Uber and Lyft. Because you can't really park a semi truck near any, like, really get into a downtown area or get close to any fun happenings or whatever. But Uber's made it so easy to take a 15-mile, 20-mile ride to go check an area out and explore things for not a lot of money, pretty reasonable. Really been able to get into a lot of areas I never would have got to visit, people I never would have got to meet and everything. So taxis back an earlier part of my driving career, it's so unreliable, real easy to get stuck somewhere and not get a ride back. So Uber completely changed that.
Angie Coley says, which type of truck you driving?
Right now I'm in a rental car on my way to a new driving job I start tomorrow. I'll probably be in a Freightliner Cascadia 2025 or 2026. Basically a fleet truck. I'll be driving dry van, 53-foot trailer dry van over the road. I'll be covering all 48 states. Oh, you kidding me? We got to slow down up here. Well, I wonder what's going on here. I think this is about the same area I was at last week. Oh, we had a big jam up on the highway. Maybe it's just some slow trucks pulling a hill here. Hopefully that's all it is. Well, I'm going to have to get pulled off and have a cigarette here at some point. Probably pretty soon. Yeah, I think we're just dealing with some slow trucks pulling this big hill here. Or not. Down to about 30 miles an hour right now. Maybe it's just because of that lane ending over there.
Angie Coley says, what's your opinion on European trucks?
What do you mean European trucks? The like the cab overs? Or the steering wheel on the other side?
Angie Coley says their sizes.
I don't think I'm familiar with the difference in sizes with European trucks. Are they longer? They carry more weight? I think I see a lot of like cab overs where they don't really have much of a like a hood. Oh, we got a big oversized load up here. I think the biggest thing, the hardest part for me would be having a steering wheel on the other side, on the right side of the vehicle, and driving on the other side of the road. I don't know if I could ever get used to that. And then even backing into a dock from that way, because there's there's like the driver's side view out your mirror, and then there's the blind side view out your mirror. And that would be completely reversed if the steering wheel was on the other side, and that would be very, very weird. I drove a day cab for a couple months, and I still couldn't even get used to backing in from that side. So Well, gonna have to wait a little while to smoke a cigarette now.
Angie Coley says which states you don't like traveling through.
I get asked that question a lot, and probably the most honest answer is whatever state I'm currently in. So, obviously, the Northeast are, less advantageous for me, and less interested in running, like, New York City, New Jersey, that neck of the woods is pretty rough. Now, all right, welcome to Pennsylvania. There we go. So I got behind this car, and then they slowed down. I got back over, and now they're going to speed up again. So there's very few states I don't like driving in. There's probably certain areas of every state that I don't like driving, especially, rush hours in some of those spots are,
Abel Hansen says good day everybody in the chat.
All right, well, welcome back from my lost signal there, I guess. Pain in the butt. All right. So now in Pennsylvania, yeehaw. On my way to Harrisburg. Left out Columbus, Ohio about 145 miles ago, so that's going to leave me about, I think, 300 miles to do today. So that's going to leave me about, I think, 300 miles to do today. I have not loaded it up into GPS yet. I really want to stop in that welcome center, but I don't think I'm far enough ahead of that oversize to not get passed while I'm in there.
Angie Coley says, have you ever transported goods out of the country?
I have not, and I have no desire to do so either. There's enough rules and regulations over here, and I don't need to go to another country and start breaking their rules. So, I know I do a lot of recaps on my logbook. So, oftentimes I'll work 35, 40, 45 days in a row without doing a restart, without a day off, driving at least some hours every single day. In Canada, you can't do that. You need, their logging rules are different. So I would need to have at least a restart or a day off, or 2 days off every so often in order to be not interested. So let's go ahead and have a cigarette. Looks like a lot of traffic in front of me here is pretty stupid, going slow in the left lane. Can't smoke in a rental car, so I'm going to jump out and have a cigarette. It'll take me less than a minute to puff this thing down. All right, hang tight. I'll be right back. Oh. back on the road. If my PTO size or not. Oh, no, he's fine. I can see him in my mirrors. Aha! Mission accomplished. He's about a quarter mile behind me. If you're just joining in, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm on my way to start a new gig now, so hopefully by Saturday I'll have another live stream up and running from the big truck. I'm supposed to be yesterday. I was going to be in the big truck, but the new job I was going to, I started last Monday, sent me home because my current address did not match the address on my license, and these dumb idiots thought that constituted an invalid license, which was not the case, but they sent me home before they realized how stupid they were. So not everyone on this earth can be above below average intelligence, so, or above below average intelligence. Certainly none of them were. I pleaded with them that they were making the wrong decision. But anyways, we were able to come to terms to bring me back there. I did go get the address fixed on my license, but now I have a paper license because they have to mail you the new one. They don't just give it to you. So we'll see how that goes. They said it would be fine. I'm sure they're stupid and have no idea that what they said was fine.
Angie Coley says, do you normally load and offload goods yourself?
Not usually. There are some accounts where you have to like tailgate, bring it to the back of the trailer. And that's really far and few between. Usually I just bump a dock and I got a forklift. Or a lot of times I just drop and hook. I'll drop the loaded trailer and we'll have an empty trailer there. So I don't even have to wait for it to be unloaded. Yeah, some places are really, really bad at unloading in a decent amount of time. They just leave you sit there for 6 or 7 hours and unload you whenever they feel like it. But I do get paid after a certain amount of time that I'm in that dock, and I usually get penalized. A lot of companies will bill $150 to $300 an hour after I'm there a certain amount of time because it's expensive equipment to leave sit around. But earlier this year, I was on an account that was where I would have to bring some heavy stuff to the back of the trailers and stuff. And I screwed up my back really, really bad and pretty much didn't do it anymore after that. I'm 48 years old now, so. And it was basically a case of, 48-year-old trying to do 28-year-old things, and I paid the price for it. This job I'm going to now, I shouldn't have to unload anything myself pretty much ever. And they usually, if you do, they make sure you know about it beforehand, make sure you're good with it. So companies are pretty good about that. Because there's a lot of guys out here older than me. I used to drive for Walmart back 2016 to 2021. And they hired a guy in at 82 years old. I think he was 82 when he started there. And he was a super cool guy. I mean, this guy, he was in great shape. He was in better shape than I was in, and I was only, probably 40 years old at the time. And this guy can run circles around me. I think they finally retired him when he hit 90 years old. They didn't really want him driving anymore. But there are some old timers out here. And a lot of those guys don't want to be unloading trailers or anything either, so. But I will unload if they make it worth my while money wise. So, but it has to be a considerable amount more. Well, let me check the battery on my phone here. I guess I'll keep this live stream running for a little while longer, but I don't know how my battery's doing here.
Angie Coley says, apart from trucking, what else you like doing while off work?
Well, I like to play poker. It's a big no limit Texas Hold'em player. I like to play cash games, not tournaments. So, but shoot some pool, drink bourbon, golfing whenever my back's not hurt, which, well, I got a flat tire there on the side of the road, it looks like. Angie, where are you at? Are you in Europe? Or are you in the United States?
Jeffrey Burns 9240. Angie Coley says, "Nah, I am in Europe."
Oh, okay, cool. I got a dreaded 55-mile-an-hour speed limit for the next many, many miles, probably 40 miles or so here, I think. Because I'm in a car, I'll go 9 miles over the speed limit here. Don't need to get a ticket, though, and get sent home again tomorrow.
Jeffrey Burns 9245 says, "Keep the world moving. Thank you for a very thankless job. Be safe out there, y'all."
You got it, Jeffrey. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that. You got it right about it being a thankless job.
Angie Coley says, "You ever tried horse riding?"
I've been on a horse a couple times. I was actually out in California. Where was I? Carmel? Well, central or northern California there. So it's been a long time ago though. So, but I liked it. I loved it. It was great. I'd definitely do it again. The horse I was on tried to kill me though. So we were up riding some trails, and there was a steep hill, and at the top of the hill, there was like a 90-degree turn, and then it started going downhill, and he almost threw me over the cliff. He ran up the hill full steam, got to the top, didn't turn, hit his brakes, and almost sent me over the well, it was a little bit of a cliff anyways. There's a lot of trees and stuff there, but I'm a big guy, so they got to put me on a bigger horse. I forget the type of horse they put me on, but I'm 6 foot 6 inches tall.
Angie Coley says, are you into cars?
Definitely into cars. Love muscle cars. I had a Hellcat custom built from the factory back in 2016. A Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Pretty much my dream car. There's some crap on the road there. But 707 horsepower. It was a 200-mile-an-hour car. That was awesome. Fortunately, I got sick back in 2021. I didn't work for a couple of years, and I had to sell it to pay bills and everything. So, hoping to get another one at some point. I'd like to get one of the Demon 170s, but you're probably talking $150,000 for one of those. So. Which, if I get $150,000, I'll gladly pay, but I'm a little short of that right now.
Alan Clarkson 1921 says, happy Sunday. Where y'all heading to?
What's up, Alan? Bro, I'm going back to the same job I was going to last Sunday. These sons of bitches sent me home Monday because my current address did not match the address on my license, and they were trying to say my license was invalid because of it. And I called them all stupid multiple times, and they were like unconvinced that they were wrong, and literally dumped me on the side of a street at a bus station by about 11:30 a.m. Monday morning. Yeah, it was, and I had no intentions of even going back there.
Clarkson 1921 says, oh shit.
Yeah, and I had no intentions to go back there. The only thing I could come up with quickly once I got back to town, was still $200 less a week than what I was going to make it the job I'm currently going to. Pretty much called them all stupid and retarded multiple times, and they begged me to not give up on them and come back. They gave me some assurances. I'm just going to call them stupid. They're below average intelligence to refer to them the entire time I'm there. Where are you at today, huh?
Alan Clarkson 21.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's some kind of fucking job interview. Nobody's hired. until the Wednesday. Yada, yada. Turn your phones off. You're not allowed to use your phones at all unless it's something work related. And it was like, yeah, it's like, you know, now that I know they're as retarded as they are, I'm just going to push their buttons all week. You know, they're going to have a little less leeway to push me around, because it was the director of recruiting who these people directly work for, you know, and I even called him stupid. I was like, well, if they work for you, why are you hiring such dumb people? Are you dumb too? Like, yeah, I shredded these motherfuckers. Apologize for the bad language, but it was some of the most ignorant stuff that, you know, could possibly happen. This
Clarkson 1921 says, been putting up new fences around the place.
Oh, cool.
And taking the hot neighbor girl for rides on the new Polaris.
Oh, hell
Not
yeah.
a bad weekend.
Not a bad weekend at all. All right, well, looks like I lost my signal momentarily again there. Sorry about that. Do better, T-Mobile. I pay you about that. Do better, T-Mobile. I pay you a lot of money. Quit being so shitty. Not sure how well the signal's going to hold up going to, on Interstate 70 in Pennsylvania right now on my way to Harrisburg.
Alan Clarkson 1921 says, those airbags on my back feel pretty good.
I bet. In to Pennsylvania from West Virginia line right now. Got to deal with stupid 55 mile an hour speed limit for a long stretch here until we get on, I think it's 55 until we get on I-76 here, get on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, run it over to Harrisburg. So yeah, New Stanton is right up, so 33 more miles.
Alan Clarkson 1921 says, yeah, your signal keeps dropping, and the view gets blurry.
Yeah, hopefully, I don't know if it's going to improve. Hopefully it does. I mean, it cut out. Jeez, I was like 5 miles past 270 in Columbus, and it was cutting out for a long stretch. So I don't know what's going on today. Pretty frustrating. I pay a couple $100 a month for this shoddy service, so not impressed. Well, there's a guy. Ooh, he's missing a whole entire wheel there. Huh. Front left wheel gone entirely.
Alan Clarkson 1921 says, that's PA for ya.
Yep. Pretty much. So I'm in a Nissan Altima today. Last week I was driving a Jeep Compass. I don't know if it's got a super big gas tank on here or if it's just getting that good of miles to the gallon, but showing 34.5 miles to the gallon, which is pretty good. And it should go up because I was going about 75 miles an hour. Now I'm only going 64. But I might be able to make it all the way here on one tank. And then I'm just going to turn the car in with an empty tank. They can go pump the gas because I'm not doing a damn thing more than I for these idiots.
Alan Clarkson 1921 says overall, do you think those will be a better job?
Yeah, I don't, I'm not sure. I think so. The money's, should come out better, but it really just depends on how many miles and, what size trips I get. So the previous company I was working for, I was in their over the road division, and I was doing 100 and 200 and 250 mile trips most of the time. And I'm like, how the f- is this OTR? You know, I didn't sign up for local, didn't sign up for regional. You know, I spend half my day sitting in the dock, which I get paid little to nothing for, and then half my day driving. So I'm spending a whole day's worth of hours for a half a day's pay, and you think that's fine? And apparently
Angie
they
Corey
did.
says, have you ever tried traveling around the world?
I have not, Angie. I'm hoping, you know, if I could get my socials big enough one day and, you know, get enough of a following, maybe I'll be able to travel to different parts of the world and drive trucks there just to see how different it is, and, you know, get somebody to
Robert
like pay me to
Plummer
do a
V1
TV show.
meter says hello Pittsburgh and Virginia Beach.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream, Robert. I'm actually not far from Pittsburgh right now. I'm heading away from it though. I was just in Pittsburgh Monday evening. And I stopped in on my way back, had some drinks at some bar at the Westin Hotel in downtown Pittsburgh. So love Pittsburgh, great city. Steelers fan all the way, baby. But yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, these companies, you know.
Alan Clarkson 21 said no. That's bullcrap. A girlfriend of mine drove for J&R Schugel. She ran into the same thing. OTR getting 200 miles a day. She quit after 3 months.
Yeah,
Robert Plummer V1 meter says right, me too.
yeah, Alan. I put about 6 or 7 months in at this place. I mean, I was on an account I was making a little more money, and it got good for a while. Then I got hurt.
Robert Plummer V1 meter says I started driving in 76.
Holy crap! You've been doing this for a while. That's 50 years of driving, man. Good deal. Yeah, I actually went to work for J&R for. I made it 45 minutes into orientation, and I I quit. I quit because of their the biometric cameras they use in their trucks. And I was like, you know, if you want to babysit and monitor your drivers that close, like they're a bunch of kindergartners, you know, just hire guys with 6 months experience. And, you know, at that time I had about 15 years in. I'm like, you know, don't expect a guy with 15 years and, you know, 1.5 million miles driven in to tolerate shit like that.
Robert
So
Plummer
I walked
V1
out.
meter says peanuts fro. Suffolk to California produce back. Alan Clarkson 1921 says yeah. She got sick of that too.
Dang, Robert, that's a nice run there. Are you still driving, or are you retired
Robert Plummer V1 meter says retired in 2005.
now? Oh, nice. Man, that's 20 years of being retired. That's awesome, man. Good for you. Yeah, I'm hoping to get out to California with the gig I'm going to start. So I'll be running all 48. I've not been out that way in a long time. The I was owner operator from 2012
Robert
to
Plummer V1
2016.
meter says family business.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the truck I bought in 2012 was not legal in California at the end of 2012. So 2012 was the last time I've driven truck out in California. So I used to love driving out there. I mean, even though it's a 55 mile an hour speed limit, it would always be a huge trip going in there, huge trip going out of there. It was awesome. I loved it. Never got messed with by their DOT, you know, at their port of entries, nothing. No issues at all whatsoever. You know, always back in them days, this was probably, you know, 2009 to 2012.
V1 meter says you got an automatic.
Yeah, it'll probably be an automatic. I think they might have some standards, but you have to actually pay more for a standard transmission if you want one in these newer trucks. They only make automatics now, unless you special order standard transmission, which is I think $4,000 to $6,000 more. They're charging for those, maybe even more than that. So, but yeah, it's usually they charge more for automatics. If you want an automatic car that's usually stick shift, you got to pay $5,000 or $6,000 more for an automatic, but not in big trucks. If you want the standard, now you got to pay more.
V1.
Driving them since I want to say 2019. I've not driven standard since 2019 or before 2019, so I wonder what it'd be like to even go back to trying to drive standard now. You know, if I'm going to be, you know, if I'd be grinding the gears, downshifting, and, you know. We'll see if they give my rest in a standard transmission tomorrow. That might actually be a little stressful at this point. It's been so long since I've
Robert
driven
Plummer
standard.
V1 meter says haha.
Used to not shifting like backups and like rush hours. I mean, you probably shift 1,000 times in a 25-minute time frame stuck in some rush hour traffic. You don't even think about it. You know, it's just second nature when that's all you've ever known driving a truck. But all right, so my battery on my live stream phone here is going to die shortly. I'm going to unplug the microphone and try to get this on a charger.
Robert Plummer V1 meter says carry 2 log books.
Yep, I remember them days. They're far and few between now. All right, where's the Southern? I'm trying to get this charger. I was going to wrap this live stream up before my phone died, but you guys are keeping me in the conversation here, so I'm gonna unplug this microphone and put my charger in. So if you guys can't hear me, definitely let me know. Something else out. I think it should be good. Let's see what we got here. All right, how's the audio? Any good? I can turn this fan down a little bit. Yeah, I'm down to 16% on the back. Well, 45 mile an hour speed limit now. And if you're just joining in, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. when I am back in the big truck, I try to come on with at least 3 or 4 live streams a week. Should be back in the big truck and live streaming by next Saturday, hopefully. I do post a lot of other short videos and long videos as interesting stuff happens out here as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, let's climb this hill here. So this section here, you know, it'd probably be a good 55 mile an hour. Good time to have a 55 mile an hour speed limit. These on ramps are quite horrible. Pretty much got to merge in from almost a dead stop on a lot of them. Like, you know, all right, definitely having a rough time keeping a signal here. On the Pennsylvania Turnpike now. Gonna stop at the First Service Plaza here and wrap this live stream up for the day. Hopefully I'll be back on here Saturday from the big truck. Next service plaza I'm going to run into is going to be the Sun. Let's see how that goes. Looks like maybe a bit of a signal right now. Maybe not much of one. Apologies for that. I am kind of rural right now, but it's no excuse for my cell service to have a crappy signal. Pay a lot of money for this. But if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Gosh, man. Lunch is near. Well, if you're just joining in, currently heading Interstate 76 eastbound right now, Pennsylvania Turnpike, on my way to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm going to be wrapping this live stream up real shortly here, pretty much the next service plaza I come across. Not sure if you can hear me. I had to unplug the microphone to put the charger in. So it's kind of been radio silence for maybe 30 minutes now. I think I lost my signal for a portion of it. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I am starting the new gig again tomorrow. I should be back in the big truck by Wednesday afternoon. Should be on another live stream from the big truck Saturday, maybe earlier, not 100%. See how things shake out. A lot of short videos, long videos up in the meantime. I have a ton of material already on my page. So, but I want to thank everyone for the comments, questions, and conversation earlier. So it's been a fun day driving across here. I am in dire need of a cigarette because I can't smoke in a rental car. Some coffee, some lunch, a restroom. So. Well, I'm sure why this guy slowed down. Guy in the left lane, anyways. drop that one. Oh, there we go. Looks like we got the green light for the microphone. Well, looks like I might have my signal back now. Sorry about earlier. It's hit and miss in some of these areas. Heck, I'm sometimes in metro areas where you wouldn't think in a million years you'd be without a signal, and then the signal drops and it's all bad or whatever. But not sure if you guys were able to hear me while I had the phone on the charger or not. I have not. It's been pretty much radio silence for the last 30 minutes or so. But hopefully you can hear me now if you couldn't hear me before. I'm going to wrap this live stream up momentarily here, so I'm going to hit a service. I want to thank everyone for joining in. Thanks for all your comments, questions, conversation, all that good stuff. It's been a fun day. Been a fun ride over so far. Thanks to y'all. Appreciate that. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Should be back on here from the big truck no later than Saturday. That's if everything doesn't fall apart again like it did last Monday. So we'll see what happens. Thought we would have been to one by now, but I thought wrong, obviously. Unless they moved it since I was here last Sunday. Moved it 20 miles down the road. Well, I think we got a tunnel coming up here. Oh, got something on the right side of the road here. Looks like a carnival ride there. That guy's hauling. Festival or something. Well, there's a scenic view right there. That's like something you'd see in a Bob Ross painting or something, that trees guy. Picture perfect. Well, I see some flashing lights up here. Probably car over. Let's see what it is. Getting real close to the Service Plaza now, I think. Pretty sure. Couple miles maybe. I'll see. Oh, there's another state police. They hide pretty good over here in Pennsylvania. I can definitely catch you off guard. Sneaky, sneaky. Now we're going 60 miles an hour because everybody's scared. Scared out of their minds now. Let's go 10 under the speed limit. 3 miles. 3 miles to the Service Plaza. That's where I'll end the live stream at for today. Definitely want to thank everyone for joining in and all your comments, questions. If you did hit the subscribe button, thank you so much. That's awesome. You're awesome. Should be back on here Saturday with a little bit of luck and just a tiny amount of intelligence for where I'm going. That might be asking for too much. I don't know. Looks like it was the Tesla that was holding me up this entire time. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll hopefully catch you Saturday-ish on another live stream. Have a great day. Bye.